Morning. Okay, let us start. Are somebody joining or we'll start it, correct?
So we will start, sir. Start.
Yep. So in the last class, what we have seen? We have seen different methods, how to declare a method, how to call the method inside the program.
Yes.
So we have seen. So now we will discuss some special methods. Some special methods are there in our ABAP. Okay, so those methods, there are two methods are available. Those methods are called constructor and destructor.
Okay.
I'll write here. So the first method name is, see, these are also a methods which are available in all the class, that means most of the classes. Constructor. So what is this constructor? Constructor is a special method of the class whose name is constructor. So yesterday we have created methods M1, M2, M3, M4 like that, correct? So
Yes,
now if the method name is constructor, so that is called as a special method. Okay, then what is the specialty of this method is, so a constructor will be executed automatically whenever an object of the class is created. You know how to create an object of the class?
Yes, sir. Create object.
Yeah, create object obj. When you write the syntax, what will happen? No need to say call method, constructor, call method, class single arrow or double arrow constructor. No need to write that syntax.
Okay.
Whenever you say create object obj, cursor automatically comes into the constructor method, executes the code whatever you have written, and then
Come back.
it will come back to the your program. So this constructor is something like initialization event in the program. See, whenever you execute the program, what will happen? Initialization event will trigger first, correct? And then
Yes.
the remaining things like that. Whenever you do that, that means whenever you create the object, constructor method will automatically calls. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, and one more important point is, whenever you create a constructor, declare constructor always as a public in the visibility.
Okay, sir.
So remember these points. There are again two types of constructors. Instance constructor and static constructor. Correct.
Yeah.
Any method can be declared in two ways, instance and static. Constructor is also a method. So you can also declare constructor as instance constructor or static constructor. Okay.
Okay.
So now, as soon as the method is, as soon as the object of the class is created, instance constructor will call automatically, because for instance method object is required. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So instance means, see, yesterday also we have discussed, if a method is instance method, separate copies of the values will be maintained for each and every object.
Yeah.
Okay, so instance constructor also, it will also maintain separate copies for each and every object which was declared in this. Okay. So, and one more time, one more thing is, assume that you have created two objects for the same class. You have created two objects, obj1,
OBJ2.
obj2. Two objects you have created for the same class.
Yes, sir.
If instance constructor is there inside that class, then the constructor will be called two times.
Okay.
Constructor will be called two times because what I told you, there is no special syntax required to call the constructor method. Whenever you create an object, constructor will be called. So if you create two objects, two times constructor will be called automatically.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and static constructor, when you come towards the static constructor only maintains only one copy of value. That means if you modify something, original value will get affected. That's what we learned. Okay, so static constructor, if the program has two objects or three objects or how many objects, for the first time only it will trigger static constructor. It will not trigger for every object. It will trigger only once when the class is loaded. Whenever your program is loaded with the class, static constructor will trigger, and static constructor will trigger only for the first time.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is about your instance constructor and static constructor.
Okay, sir.
Now let us go towards destructor. There is something called destructor. Constructor is a special method. So there are two things, instance constructor and static constructor. Now there is another method. This is another special method. Method name is destructor. So what I told, constructor means just like initialization event. Whenever you create an object, that code will be triggered. Whatever you write in the constructor, that code will be executed when you create an object of the class. Okay. So now what is the destructor? Destructor means here generally what you will write, you will create so many variables in the program, correct? Data, obj, you may say data itab, type table of Mara, you will say so many variables you will declare in the program, or so many attributes you will declare in the class. Okay. So finally after that means finally what you have done, you are trying to display an ALV report. So ALV report you have already displayed, then finally you are coming back. Once you are coming back, the memory which is allocated for the internal table is not required. So what I will do, I will deallocate a memory for the internal table, so that memory will be used for another program. Why to waste the memory unnecessarily? Okay. So in the destructor, what it will do, destructor will write the code to deallocate the memory. This is the main point of the destructor. Okay. So it is a special method of a class which is executed as soon as the object of the class goes out of scope. For example, from that point onwards, object will not be there. In that case, this destructor will work.
Okay.
And remember, these destructors are used in order to
Deallocate the memory.
what?
Deallocate the memory.
Yeah, reallocate the memory. And this destructor also should always public. Constructor also always public. And destructor is always instance. Again, there are two types destructors, instance and static. Okay. And what I suggest you is, declare the destructor always instance. So now you need to tell me why not static.
So
Can I
static.
declare a static destructor?
For static, creation of object is required.
No. For static creation of the object is not required. You can call by a class.
Class. Okay.
Hmm. For instance only creation of the object is
Is
required.
required. Yes, sir.
Hmm. So static destructor is not possible. Only instance destructor is possible. See, the destructor definition is nothing but the destructor will execute as soon as the object of the class goes out of the scope. So to execute the destructor, object is required. Object is compulsory.
Yes, sir.
So it's a instance.
Yes, sir.
Okay, static. By using a static, you cannot call it destructor.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this is about your constructor and destructor. So now let us see some program which will help us to learn about this, and let us see some inheritance concept now.
Okay, sir.
I will just show you how to put a constructor and destructors AC30 AC24. I want to add a constructor method here. I'll put my cursor here and click on this constructor. Create constructor is there. So click on this. So see, this was instance public constructor is added in the class. Now double click on this. And I will write some code here. I am constructor executed first. Give some text for your understanding. Activate the constructor. So I will also create one more constructor, that is static constructor. There is an option, I think, class documentation static to create the static constructor. Yeah. So now if you see class hyphen constructor indicates static constructor and it is static public.
Sir, how to call the static constructor?
How to call?
Class the
How to
static
put there?
Yes, sir.
You can write here class underscore constructor. You can write type here. Otherwise, there is a button, no, create constructor. If I delete this, what will happen? If I say, for example, I'll delete
Yes, sir.
and save it.
Class constructor.
So here class constructor is there.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so click on this class constructor.
Okay.
Okay, so here what I'll do, I will put some statement, right? I am static constructor. So we have declared a static constructor and constructor, both we have declared. So destructor, so give the destructor name here, press enter. So destructor method will be provided here. Double click on this. So here you can write the coding to reallocate the memory for the variables and attributes. So I will say here free v1, v2, v3 and so on. You can write all the variables whichever you mentioned in the class. Save it, come back, activate. Okay, I'll show you how to use this destructor. Processor, maybe something is still missing.
Implementation is missing constructor.
For the time being, we have not implemented this destructor. Now I'll go to the programming.
Size of certain created.
Data obj type ref to ZCL underscore test. I'll save this, check this and activate. So now what I will do, start of selection, create object obj. I am not writing any code, call method, constructor or destructor. I'll execute. So as soon as I execute, so it is calling the static constructor and instance constructor. Okay. So in the static and instance constructors, static constructor will be called first. Static constructor will be given to the priority. So if both are there, static constructor and instance constructor, both are there, then your static constructor details will be called first, and then your instance constructor will be called.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now what I will do, I will create two objects, obj1 obj2 So now what is the result?
Now,
How many times the static constructor will be called?
twice.
Only once. Static only once.
Okay.
Instance will be called as many number of objects are there.
Okay, sir.
So static is only called for one time. Instance is called as many number of times the objects are there. Two objects are there, so two times instance
Called.
constructor code is executed. Static is executed only once. So what I will suggest you is write a program to count the number of objects declared in the program. Can you do it?
Okay, sir.
You declare some 5 or 6 objects in your program, and finally what I want is, I want the total number of count you have declared in the program. Tomorrow I will declare another object in the program, then also it should give the count correctly.
Okay.
Can you do it?
Okay, sir.
What is the idea behind this?
So you need to use
How will you
construction.
do?
We
Which
using
constructor you will use?
instance.
Instance constructor. Correct. Try to do it. Fine. So now let me take you into this AC24. Now with the concept of inheritance, we'll learn the concept of inheritance. Say for example, this is a class ZCL test. ZCL test I want to inherit. So if I want to inherit, I'll write the name here, ZCL test 1. This is a child. ZCL test 1 is a child. Otherwise I'll give here CHILD, a child. ZCL test child is a child class for ZCL test. I'll click on create. Okay, so in the description I will give some description. Okay, so here there is a symbol here, class inheritance. Click on this. For this child class, what is the super class? Super class means parent. Who is the parent for ZCL test child? ZCL test is the parent for ZCL test child. Remove this final and save. So now if you observe,
Parents are already coming.
from the parent class, if you compare the visibility, only public and protected, public data and public methods and protected methods are coming. Similarly, if you compare the attributes, only public attributes and protected attributes are coming. Okay. So from this what you can understand, whenever you inherit a class from parent class, a parent class public and protected details will come and sits in the child class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
So why not
So
the
now
private, sir?
private is a simply private. Private cannot be accessible outside the class, and inherited classes also. That is the definition of the private. That means that is the basic feature of the private.
Okay, sir.
Public means the feature of the public is it can be accessible inside the class and outside the class. Okay, whenever you do the inheritance, public data will also come.
Yes, sir.
And protected, what is the definition of the protected variables? Protected, whenever you declare a variable as a protected, that is accessible only inside the class and in the inherited class. So this is nothing but inherited class.
Okay,
So
sir.
that's why your protected data is coming up here.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now, what my doubt is, can I create a method M1 instance public once again here?
Yes, sir.
Can I create a method M1 instance public?
Yes, sir.
Why?
It's a child class, no, sir.
In the child class, you mean to say you can give the same name as that of the parent class?
Yes, sir. We can give the same name, but with some properties change in some properties.
No. Don't go for the properties. Think as of the name only. Method name. As of now, you just think about the name. Method name is same I am giving, but this is child class. Can I declare or not? See the error message.
It's already exists from.
It's already existing. So even though you inherit a method, class is assuming that it's there already. This method is already there. So you cannot declare the method with the same method name. You cannot declare in the child class. If you want to declare, you need to put some other name. Okay. Can I declare M6?
M6. Okay, sir. Why it's not inherited by the parents, sir. That's why we can create.
Correct. It's not inherited, so you can declare M6.
Excuse me, sir.
Fine. Yeah.
Sir, like the concept of function overloading can have same name but signature different. We can declare like that, no, sir?
No, that
Yeah,
is not supported in ABAP. That is not supported in ABAP. Same name with a different signature was not supported in ABAP. That I told you. Okay, but the thing is,
Okay.
different classes, same method name is supported. In the parent class also M6 method is there. In the child class also M6 method is there. But there the method I will write some other code. Here I will write some other code. Something like that.
Okay, sir.
But here what again I am saying, if the method is inherited, public and protected methods will come. You cannot put the same name of the public and protected methods.
Okay.
If I give here M1, it will not accept. It will say M1 is already inherited. M1 is already there. But if I give M6, it will accept because it's not inherited.
It is
Okay.
like M1 is already present in the child class, no, sir?
Yeah, M1 is already present in the child class. So M1 it will not take anymore. So now if I say M6,
Okay.
in the parent class also M6, there is a method M6. That is
Yes,
a
sir.
private method. That is a private
Yes,
method.
sir.
Now here what I will do, I will put the M6 once again because that method is not inherited. I will give the same name M6 and I will give here instance public or static public or maybe instance private, whatever I want. So that is
Yes.
completely different and this M6 is completely different. So now I'll save
Okay.
this. So I'll double click. I'll say here So give some implement the class and activate the program. So this is how you can inherit the class. That means child class. A parent class can be inherited to the child class. So parent class properties are coming to the child class.
Okay, sir.
Now I'll go to the SE38. So data obj type ref2 zcl underscore test underscore child. So now
Sir,
I'll
can
say
we create objects using constructors, sir, in ABAP?
create object using constructor.
Yes, in ABAP.
Constructor, inside the constructor you want to create an object?
No, sir, like using constructor we can create objects in OOPS, sir.
No, no. Using method you cannot create. Object is for class. Object is for class. You cannot create
Okay.
object for only one method. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Start of selection. Create object. Whatever you have given, obj. Then I will say call method obj single arrow m1. Now tell me what will happen. Call method obj m1 means
Sir.
what?
I am method 1 will come, sir.
Which one?
For that, yeah,
I am
for
method 1 and that will be coming from where?
from parent means child class itself.
From
Inherited.
parent class. Actually the cursor will go to this one. Cursor will go to this class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, in this class method m1. Okay, but method m1 is implemented in parent class.
Parent class.
So again the cursor will go to the parent class and it will execute the code in the parent class. So m1, whatever the code you have written in the parent class, that will come.
Yes, sir.
What about this?
Child class M6 will be coming, sir. I am child
Yeah,
class.
in the child class, whatever the m6 you have written, that one will come. So constructors are there. So after the constructor, I am method m1 is coming. I have not given new line for this, so it was coming in the same line.
Okay, sir.
So after that, I am child class method m6 that was coming. Okay. So now, how to do inheritance without help of SE24?
It's in the editor itself.
Yeah.
In the editor.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, now we have inherited those 5 methods from the parent class, that is ZCL test now, sir.
Correct.
Can we like change the coding in the child class, sir, after inheriting?
Yeah. Yeah. You can change.
We can
You can
change.
change. You can change, but what you can change is you cannot change in the sense say for example, my parent class is adding two numbers, okay,
Yes.
and it was giving the result of adding the two numbers. After that, you can change the result, but you cannot change the functionality of adding. So there is a code in the parent saying that the code is sum is equal to num1 plus num2. Some coding is there. It the same code will be inherited to the
Child class.
child class.
Okay.
So here you got the sum already. You got the sum. After getting the sum, you do some multiplication of the sum, or you subtract again num1 from the sum. You do something, but in the parent class, whatever the code is there, that you cannot change from child class.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
You can add additional code what is existing, but you cannot change the code.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I'll show you what you can do. Fine. So now I'll create a program. Oops,
Yes.
file. I'll go. What are the program names we are giving? Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
8, sir.
3,
Just give.
4. Okay. So yesterday this program we have created, remember?
Yes, sir.
So now what I will do,
Awesome.
I will copy this. Now see it. Class C1 definition. This is the class C1. So we have three sections: public section, protected section, and private section. So these are the variables. Data V1. Data means that is instance. Class data means static. Then methods M1, class method M4. Similarly, we have different methods. Okay, and we have implemented all the methods here. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So now, till here we have done. So that means class C1 is done. Now class C2. I want some class C2 which is the child of class C1. Okay. So what I will do? Class C2 definition inheriting from C1. I'll say. End class. So now I'll save and check. Is it required implementation? Class C2 required implementation?
Sir, we have not declared any methods, sir. So implementation is not required. The child class.
So that's why it is giving syntactically correct. Implementation is not required.
Yes, sir.
But even the implementation is not required, a class C2, that means class C2 is already having the public and protected methods inside this. So if I say class C2, obj type ref to class C2, start of selection, obj create object obj method M1, if I say, what it will do?
It will go to parent class and copy.
This C2 class has the method M1 which is inherited from class
C1.
C1. That is the meaning. So I'll save it, check it, activate, and execute. So I'm method M1, I'm method M2. Why both are coming?
Sir, in the M1 we have called M2 also, sir, inside the class.
Correct. Good. So here we have called M2 also. I'll remove this to avoid the confusion. So now, see, I am method M1 only. So that means whatever the code which is there in the parent class, that is getting executed. Okay, so this is the syntax. So now if you want to add one more method in this, how to add? Again, public section, protected section, private section. So I want to add a method here. So I will say
Method MC.
methods,
Yes,
methods M6. So I have added a method. So once I add a method, what I need to do? I need to implement the method. So what I will do here, class C2 implementation. End class. Method M6, same as we have done earlier. Method M6,
End method.
end method, and you write the coding, whatever you want, you write it inside. Okay, done.
Yes, sir.
So this is how. Now if you can call here, call method obj m6. If you say, then what will happen? The code which you have written for the class C2, that will be executed.
Yes, sir.
So if you have any questions here, you can ask me. Or if you are clear, we'll go with the next things.
It continues, sir.
So clear?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so let us go to the redefinition. So now just now you asked me, can we change the coding in the inherited class?
Okay.
Now let us see. For that what I will do, better come back, go to the class. So here M1 is there. If I double click on the M1, what it is saying? The method M1 is implemented in the parent class. I'll continue. Then what it will, where it was going, the cursor is going for I am method M1, the cursor is going here. So now assume that instead of write statement, some logic is there here. Some logic I have written here. So now what I will do, I want to add some more logic to the existing logic. So I'll put my cursor on M1. So there is a button here called redefine. There is a redefine button here. Click on this redefine button. Okay. So here there is a syntax which is commented, call method super hyphen M1. Uncomment this. Super means parent class. Okay, so now I am calling the parent class method M1. So my parent class method M1, whatever I have written, that will be implemented, and after that I'll say you can add some extra logic here. So here I'm saying I was added in the child class. So I'll write something here in the child class. Super means
Parent.
immediate parent. Super stands for immediate parent. So this is a child. Immediate parent is ZCL test.
Yes, sir.
M1 means what is the M1 code? Whatever the code is there in the M1 of the parent class, that will be executed in this statement.
Okay.
Once that is executed, a cursor will come here and it will execute the code whatever you write here. So now let me take you into the program. So here I am saying call method obj m1. For the time being I will comment this m6. So now if you see, I am method m1 is coming. After that I was added in the child class. So whatever the logic you add in the child class, that will be executed and the result will come. Result will be displayed. Okay.
Okay.
So this is called redefining. How to do redefinition in local class. Local class means the class which you declare in SE24. How to do redefinition? So we have already done this just now.
Yes.
Class C1 implementation, class C2 and C2 implementation. I want to redefine the class, I want to redefine the method M1. So here what I will say, methods M1 redefinition. And M6. There are two methods in my child class. First M1 I want to redefine. There is M6. That is a different method. So now whenever I give the redefinition syntax, redefinition keyword here, and if I check, the system will ask, boss, you missed the implementation for method M1.
Yes.
Okay, so implementation is missing for method M1. So you write the implementation of the method M1 here. So child method M1 I will give. I am not giving any super keyword. I am not using any super keyword here. Okay. So if I don't use any super keyword, whatever you give here, that will come. But if I say call method super means immediate parent class, single arrow M1, then what will happen? First the parent class method M1 will be executed, and then
Child class.
this code will be executed, whatever you have written. Save it, check it, and activate. So if you don't want to execute the parent class code, then what you need to do? Comment this, call super method M1. So now I'm saying call method obj M1, execute. So I have method M1 that is coming from the parent class. Child method M1 is coming from the
Child class.
logic added in the child class. Okay, so the keyword you need to use to redefine is
Redefinition.
redefinition. Redefinition is the keyword you need to use, and you need to implement the same method once again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is about your redefinition keyword. So this is the main thing. These are the main things which you need to learn in the inheritance concept.
Okay, sir.
Now let us see a program to put the parameters for a particular method. I'll go to the SE24. So here if you observe, this is a child class. Child class has a method M6, correct? I want to put some parameters to this method M6. I'll click on the parameters. Parameters I will say num1, num2 and sum. Type, whether it is exporting or importing, you need to say num1 I will import, num2 also I will import,
Some export.
and sum I will export. Okay, so and associated type,
Numeric, integer.
I'll say some all these are integers. Maybe I don't know whether if it is integer it will accept or not. I'll say character some 5 or numeric 5 or something. Character 5 digits. So I have declared some parameters to the method. Which method? For
M6.
method M6. Save it, check it, and activate. And go to the method M6. And instead of doing this statement and all, what you do is right here sum is equal to
Plus
num1
plus
plus
num2.
num2. Activate this. And come back.
So right statement is not required, sir, to display the right.
Right, we will sum however sum we are exporting.
Yes.
So we will write the sum in the program itself. Okay, so I'll go to SE38. So maybe I'll say program 9. So here what shall I write? Can you tell me the syntax? Call method obj hyphen or obj single arrow M6 exporting num1 num2 importing sum. Okay, So I'll declare two parameters here. Parameters p underscore num1 of length 5 type C, p underscore num2 of length 5 type C, and I will declare it data. Something you give it total of length 5 type C. So now what I will do is I will give some value in the parameter p underscore num1. I will pass this value to this method num1. P underscore num2 I will pass it to the method num2, and method will calculate the sum. That sum I will capture in total. And total. So some constructor and the static and instance constructors are coming. After that you are getting the results here. Okay. So this is how you need to call a method which is having importing and exporting parameter, just like your function module.
Yes.
Here if it is exporting in your method, that is importing. Here it is importing in your method, that is exporting.
Exporting.
Just like follow the same thing which you are following for your function modules. Okay.
Okay, sir.
To call the function module, where you will go?
Pattern.
Pattern you will go and you will call.
Yes, sir.
So here what I have done is I have written this. I have written all this syntax. If you don't want to write all this syntax, what you can also do is you can go to the pattern. You can go to the pattern. Click on this ABAP object patterns. Call method. For which class? So this is the class.
Yes.
Instance is obj. Method M6. I want to call method M6. So continue. Now instance obj class is that one, test child, method M6. So now if you observe, the syntax is coming.
Yes, sir.
Okay, previously what I have written, I have written the syntax. But here the thing is coming, you just give p underscore num1, num2 and sum total. So this is simple. Okay, but this is valid only if you have class declared in SE24 transaction. If you declare the class in program, this pattern will not work. Getting what I am saying?
Yes,
If
sir.
you declare the class inside the program, this pattern will not work. If you declare the class in SE24, the pattern will work. So with this we have seen the inheritance concept and how to add parameters to the methods and how to do the redefinition. You know now how to use the super keyword and redefinition keyword, correct?
Okay.
So now let us go to the next one, abstraction. So today I will give you the small introduction about the abstraction, and tomorrow we'll see how to implement the abstraction concept. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Okay.
so now abstraction means see, abstraction means a template kind of thing. We have already discussed that. So it's a template maybe which is common for all the people. Say for example, if you go to a school studying is a common property, but first class child will study for only 1 hour per day. The 10th class students may study for 4 hours or 5 hours per day, correct? But
Yes, sir.
study is common,
Yes, sir.
so that is called abstraction.
Okay.
So in this, one important point you need to make a note that it's always used as a parent. Like for example, if for an inheritance class is there, one inheritance there will be a parent class and there will be a child class, correct? So if you declare a class as an abstract class, that is always used as a parent class. Don't use the class as a child class. Remember. So abstract class has a different methods. Like normal other classes, abstract class also will have a methods.
Okay,
In these
sir.
methods, some methods are implemented and some methods are not implemented. But for the normal class, if you declare a method, that must be implemented. Implementation is compulsory for normal class. But if you declare a class as an abstract class, you cannot implement the methods compulsorily. You can implement some methods and you can leave some methods without implementation. So that is another important point you need to remember. That is a difference between a normal class and abstract class. You can implement few methods and you can leave out few methods. Okay, so now the methods whichever you have left out without implementation, those methods are called abstract methods. Getting the concept, what I am saying, if you are not able to understand, you can just ask me. So abstract class means it has a methods which are implemented and not implemented as well. So the methods which are not implemented is called abstract methods. So
Okay, sir.
after that what you will do, you will take the class as a parent class and inherit the methods. In the child class, now you implement the methods whichever is not implemented in the parent class.
Okay, sir.
So that is the concept we will follow in the abstract. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So let us see, this concept we will try to implement in tomorrow's class.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Fine then. So we'll see abstraction tomorrow, and there are something called events.
Okay.
And what else were there? Yeah, final class and normal class. These things were there.
Okay,
And
sir.
then ALB oops. I will also tell you how to use this oops in ALB reports. You know ALB reports, correct?
Yes, sir.
So how to use this oops concept in ALB reports? That
Okay,
we
sir.
need to discuss. Okay, fine,
Oh.
fine then. So we'll meet in the tomorrow's class.
Okay, sir.
So we'll discuss about the remaining things.
Okay, sir.